On the Mayfly bench, a couple of Blondie microphones. So a very good customer of mine bought these microphones on Reverb, and unfortunately when they arrived, he found that one of them was broken. Specifically this one. Kind of comes apart and it doesn't function. So he asked me to, well, have a look at it, see if I can get it going. Microphones are not a strange thing for me. I've built ribbon types and I've built clones of Neumann U87s. And so I figured I could have a go and it might make an interesting video. So let's get down to it. So here we have our pair of microphones. This is the functioning one and this is the non-functioning one. And you'll notice right away that the innards of the functioning one are held together by this little plastic screw, which appears to have broken off on this one. On closer inspection, what we found is that the screw is embedded in the enclosure and also inside here. You know, if you look inside this, I'm not sure if the camera can pick this up, but there's a little dark stain around the hole where the screw goes through. It's my guess that sometime in the past, someone over-tightened this screw, snapped it in half, and then tried to cover the whole thing up with a whole lot of super glue. And when my customer bought it, he bought it, had it shipped to him, and this thing rattled back and forth inside the enclosure to the point where this microphone was damaged. So we have a known good one that we're going to have a look at, and we have this one, which looks, well, doesn't look like it's in the best shape. Okay, let's have a look inside the good one. So this is what we have when you have inside here. So this is kind of a dramatic change between this one. This one's obviously damaged, obviously crinkled up, beat up in transit, whereas this one still looks pretty good, although it's bent at a kind of an oblique angle there. I'm not sure why that is. Perhaps it got a knock on the end. Oh yes, this is pushed in right there. So probably got a knock in the end, bending the capsule down, but I'm willing to bet it still works fine. You can tell that the electronics inside this are embedded underneath this tape. And if we run into trouble with the other one, figuring out what's going on, at least we have a known good one to compare it to. All right, in order to release this, I've undid this little screw here, which lets the capsule move in and out a bit, but it gets hung up on the remains of this screw. This screw, you probably can't see it, but it's sticking down a good 1/4 of an inch inside that enclosure, causing all of this and the capsule, etc., to be hung up on it. I'm going to have to very carefully remove that to get this out of here. And I'm going to have to think about exactly how I'm going to do that without damaging the internals of this very tiny microphone. Before I do that, I'm going to try and pop this a little bit out. I'm willing to bet that that's not threaded in there. It's just held in with super glue. And so I should be able to just force it out. And, well, here we go. Wish me luck. Okay, I have a little probe here. I'm just going to apply a little bit of pressure on that. Maybe it'll just pop right through there. Oh, it's held in there pretty good. Super glue is pretty good stuff, don't you know? Yeah, it's in there pretty good. I'm going to have to drill that out. What I've found in doing this sort of thing is, first, if the object is fairly small that you're trying to drill out, it's best to hold it in your hands like this and then just apply a little pressure up until the drill passes. Second, use the smallest bit you can find. This is quite a small one right here. And very slowly swap in and out larger and larger sizes until the piece that's inside there just kind of degrades. Now, like I said, that guy in there is not threaded because it has to be able to go into the capsule without any sort of hung up on something. And so over drilling this shouldn't be a big deal. But still, I'm going to be careful. This is also a good dress rehearsal for when I have to drill out the same screw in that microphone enclosure. So, well, here we go. Okay, first hole's through. Let's make a few more. So I'm thinking the best thing to do here is to weaken it just enough that I could get a probe inside there and snap it off. And then worry about cleaning up the threads inside that hole afterwards, after I get all of the electronics out, because I don't want to have the problem of getting some sort of drill bit inside there and making a mess of things. So I think I'm just going to do a small bit, just get it in there gently and see if I can snap it off inside and pull the hole where it's out. Here we go. Wow, that worked perfectly. I just punched it through and the screw just fell right inside there. And so now I should be able to just slide the whole works out. Look at that. That is pretty cool. Okay, now let's take that tape off and find out what's going on underneath there. So in removing stuff like this, you got a couple of options. One is you could cut it off. And the second option is you can carefully unwrap that. I think I'm going to go with option 2 and see if I can just pull this apart very gently. Note to all you electronics guys out there, please don't use masking tape for covering your electronics. It's just bad. Use heat shrink or Teflon tape, please, because whoever's working on it next will have to put up with a sticky mess like I am currently enjoying. Okay, we're getting there. We are unwrapped. I think I see the source of our problem. When the microphone was damaged, when the capsule got squished in there like that, it shorted these 2 lead wires to the capsule together. It looks like the only thing I have to do is straighten everything, insulate it, and then put it back together. That would be good. Wow, that is some interesting technique there. Okay, some quality time on the bench, and I've got it straightened out. I'm not going to insulate this thing until I actually test it to make sure it's functional, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was, these 2 wires shorting together. So I've tested this guy, and it works. So now I'm going to get some Teflon tape, wrap it up, then come up with a solution for that broken screw. So you may be wondering what I mean when I say Teflon tape. I'm not talking about plumber's tape. No, I'm talking about this. This is Teflon tape specifically for fine electronics work. I'm going to use this to wrap up those lead wires. All right, so this is what it looks like when it's covered with the Teflon tape. It's all insulated in there. Now as a bonus, you can see what's going on inside there. It seems that a 632 is the screw choice for this guy. Let's reassemble. Okay, the first thing that needs to be done for this particular microphone, and the other one is slightly different from this actually, is that we insert the capsule and the electronics into here. Capsule just barely fits through there actually. And that's the hole until this set screw appears right there. There's a special screw just for this set screw. Place it in, screw it in with your handy dandy screwdriver. Then we take our microphone body, insert the capsule, grab the screw that we just created specifically for this purpose, and that is it. We're ready to test. For testing purposes, I've arranged the microphones in the classic stereo XY pattern on this funky little arrangement here.
Cousin Mary
She went fighting for her country. She went fighting for her home. Then there's a time she lost her husband. He was fighting for the rights. She'll be leaving in the morning. Won't you please say good night? All the money in the world couldn't tie old Mary down. She was the first in line to tell ya she's had her way around. There could be knights and kings and other horses waiting to fight. She'll be leaving in the morning. Won't you please say good night? Oh, lovely lady. Oh, lovely lady. Always so fair. She'll be leaving in the morning. Won't you please take good care?